Okay, I had to put this match up against Mr. Be Yourself. You'll see why, I think, over the course of this game. It was really satisfying to actually pull 2 out of 3 out of this. Anyway, my opponent is playing Mealstrom Wanderer, and I'm playing Sliver Queen, and if you stick around at the end of the video, I will bring up the deck list for Queen that I'm currently using. I'm playing what we've dubbed New Queen, because it's not the pure control version. It's an aggro control deck. So my opponent leads off with Stomping Ground. Since I'm playing 3 games, I'm going to spin through these turns like somewhat quickly. Obviously I have like an amazing hand, so I definitely was a keeper. So I go ahead and just search up a Soul Ring. Get down with Confidant. So this is a perfect situation here. He's got basically 1 turn to find an answer, and if he doesn't, I win. But he does. Volcanic Fallout. Horrible, horrible timing for me. I do get a Dynamo. And then he strips the Trop. So things are actually looking really bad here. And a Harmonize to go with it. Things have gone from bad to horrendous. Yeah, I'm going to fast forward through this game. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to concede. There's nothing. I'm completely smoked. So that was how the match started. So we moved on to game 2, and check this out. Of course, I choose to play first. And I keep another Landlight hand. Just having bad luck with mana, but too good of a hand not to keep, I thought. So, here we go. Turn 2 Sylvan. See, it should get it done for me. It should find the mana I need, right? He goes Pyroclasm, so he's playing a ton of that type of stuff. Edric, Demonic, Treachery, no mana. So I take Demonic and put Treachery back. And then Mystical Tutor, figuring I'll pay some more life next turn. And I get Force of Will. I get Force of Will because if the other 2 cards aren't land, at least I have some kind of defenses. As opposed to getting, like, say, Brainstorm, where I could have paid life for all 3 cards and then Brainstormed. Luckily, one of the cards is land, and look, the other card is a Mana Drain. So I pay full life for that. And then Demonic Tutor. He bounces Rift. He rifts the Sylvan in response. I can't afford to Force a Will and deal with that and fight over that. So I go get Crypt and throw it on a GT. And I have to discard. And I throw away Dynamo because I'm just... Hold on. Excuse me. I just don't... I don't need more colorless mana. I need blue. I mean, of course I want more colorless, but it's just not the situation that I'm in right now. So he goes for Jace, knowing I have the Force. I'm certainly going to force that and use Bribery. Because if I get blue, I'm not going to pap out in Bribery. I'm going to say go and stand up the Mana Drain. So I don't get blue there. And I decide what I need to do is Trinket for a Soul Ring and equip the Trinket Mage, and that way with the GT in a couple of turns I can take a lot of the threat away from his commander. Put some pressure on him this way. We know he's playing Wanderer, I'll minimize it. He plays Electrolyze. So this case he's playing tons and tons and tons of creature removal. Like the creatureless control deck would eat this shit for lunch. Pardon my language, but of course it's well positioned against me. So, and finally, I draw a second blue over the course of 2 games. For the first time, I have 2 blue mana in play. Oh, well, I guess I did for that brief turn 3 before he played the Strip Mine. So I played a Pilgrim and put a GT on it. I could have played the Sylvan here, but I felt like I was fine. I will get more cards in a minute. I wanted to just keep growing my mana. And I really wanted to get that GTA, started. So he sacks a Cellulant Knight Temple, so he can play Mealstrom Wanderer, random number generator of crap card. And so his 8 mana guy gets him a Chrome Mox with no imprint. Oh, what a great card. So glad he's playing it. And Thran Dynamo. This is the excuse my language. This is the problem with Mealstrom Wanderer. You have to play all this ramp to run him, and then you have a chance of just going. You either get draws without ramp, or they get disrupted. Draws where you play him and all you get is ramp, or draws where you actually get him and you do good things. But it's random. It's terrible. Randomness. I don't know. I guess some people enjoy it. But for me, I like having control over what's going on in a game as much as possible. So anyway, because the Dynamo, because he doesn't have enough mana to recast his guy, and the Dynamo would allow that in the future should I find an answer to it, and because I can afford to take a hit, I decide I'm going to mana drain the Dynamo. And I just take the 7. And draw Jace. So I was looking at this and it was like, well, okay, I can play opposition, Sylvan Library, don't attack with my creature, tap his guy during upkeep, and that's okay, unless he takes another turn, and it's not so good, but, Or I could play Jace, Sylvan, bounce his guy, hit him with the GT, and the only way he can recast a Wanderer at that point would be either to draw a Mana Crypt or something like Ancient Tomb. So odds are really, or a Soul Ring and a land. But I mean, it seemed like with only 3 cards in his hand, odds are he's not going to be able to recast Wanderer next turn. And then from there, I can do things with opposition, and I'm in a great spot. So I went with the Jace plan. And put some counters on GT. Also, I thought, on the off chance he does cast it and doesn't hit anything particularly stellar, he has to choose between hitting me with his Wanderer and hitting Jace. So that means I could still win the game. But he has Crystal Vein right on time, of course. So down comes Wanderer, more random crap. And he hits Time Spiral. It's, I suppose, an interesting choice in that deck. So with Time Spiral, I lose Edric opposition, and I get all this. Looks a lot weaker. Especially since he's about to get a new hand. And all I'm thinking is, all these guys with Wanderer are playing excessive amounts of Time Walks. So I'm just like, don't hit a Time Walk. It's fractured. I don't even... This is... Fractured Power Stone. Strictly worse than basically everything. Mind Stone, Felwar Stone, Grim Monolith for 2, any Signets. Surely he couldn't have gone through every single one of those before he got the Fractured Power Stone. But anyway, so down comes Wanderer. Wanderer smashes my face. And although he didn't hit a Time Walk, he's got one. So, looks like game over for me. So he swings in for his 20, for his 21, and I GT to make it 20 points of damage from the Maelstrom. But of course now I'm at 3 with a Crypt. And of course, we pretty much know how this game is going to end, right? So he goes ahead and plays a Karn, just to add insult to injury. Goes my Jace, so that I can bounce Wanderer. And I gain 2 life as an emergency. And looks like he wins. Or does it? So, Sylvan Library, I'm certainly not going to be paying. So get rid of Sower and a Forest. And check this fantastic turnout. This is one of the coolest reversals of fortune I've had in quite some time. So Wasteland comes down. And for whatever reason, I was trying to tap for blue there. Wasteland comes down. We'll try this again. I Treachery the Wanderer. Now all my guys have haste. Floating a green. You know, I tapped an extra green and then converted basically mana crypt mana into green. So I play Quarian Ranger. A Priest. Tap for double green. Play Noble Hierarch. Pick up the Bayou that I've used to untap the Wanderer. Tap all, thanks to haste, all but the Wasteland. To play Tezzeret, the Seeker. Tez my 2 lands. Move a GTA over to a hasted Quarian Ranger. Attack and kill Karn. Get 2 counters on GTA. And Winter Orb him. And then during his upkeep, whatever he untaps gets stripped. Okay, we can now carry on with the turns. Hey, wasn't he just winning this game a second ago? Yeah, so 3 hits to the face with the Mealstrom Wanderer, a Karned Jace, and I win. So game 3. Trying to hustle this along a bit. I was super pumped about game 2 though. So coming off of that, I took a look at this hand and was like, oh yeah, here we go. Another 1-land hand, but I'm keeping it. I don't care. I don't need lands. Keep those in my sideboard. So anyway, luckily I top decked that Wasteland, so I get down to turn 1 Priest. And he gets Sylvan, which is oh so good. So I was thinking, like, is there anything I can Mystical Tutor to kill it? Do I have, like, Nature's Claim in here or something? No, I don't have that in this current version, so instead, what I do is waste that thing, pod, and fetch. Dun, 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 dun. Dragon Predator. Alright, bud. You get to draw 3 cards once. You get 2 extra cards. Alright, and one of them was an artifact. Well, I don't count this. So, top decking Force of Will there is nice. So I Brainstorm, and there's some mana, actually. Smash and kill Sylvan first. Well, Skrorak will let him look at a ton more cards. He doesn't have enough mana to make use of them. If this were a different situation, I would strongly consider killing the Skrorak, because it represents a new hand of 7 cards. But a new hand with no mana is not so bad. Drawing additional cards like mana, that's not so good. So I kill that. Play the Verge. Okay, this game's glitching out. This was not Verge. This was Dryad Arbor. So I Birthing Pod Dryad Arbor, and I go get Stoneforge. Or no, Birds of Paradise, excuse me. So I go get Birds of Paradise, and on his turn he plays like a land and some sort of artifact mana. And he has like 4 mana in play. So on my turn, I untap, and during my upkeep, I Mystical Tutor for Mind Twist. And I play a land, which it wasn't Volcanic Island, it was Gaia's Cradle. So I play Gaia's Cradle, tap for 2, 4, 5. You have to imagine the Verge is in Arbor, which is dead. There's a bird in play. So it was Bird, Crypt, Cradle. Mind Twist him down to 2 cards in hand. Trigon his Skrorak away. Or one of his artifact mana, perhaps. I forget. In fact, no, it was one of his artifact mana. So anyway, after that, the next thing that happens is, so I don't get to pod that turn. So on the next turn, I'm able to pod the bird away, tapping it for mana first, and tapping Cradle for mana to have just enough to have 5, where I'm able to pod away the bird into Stoneforge, into Sword of Feast and Famine, which comes down, gets equipped on Trigon. Trigon smashes, destroys another artifact, untap lands, and he scoops at that point he has like 2 mana in play, no other permanents, like 1 card in hand, and he's facing a Trigon. Well, he's facing like a whole bunch of madness, and that's it. So I hope you enjoyed the game. Sorry that this glitched out. I'll fast forward so you can see whatever turn it was in which he did concede. That should come up. Potting randomly. It's so weird. And when these things glitch, they really glitch like in a special way, don't they? Come on. There we go, yeah. Yeah, it was turn 4. It was like Mind Twist, and then the sword, and that was it. Got my standard turn 4 kill. So here's the deck list as I have it now. Some cards I was thinking about. But, so I put Nin the Pain Artist in here. I don't know. I like him. I'm not sure about him yet. What I really think I need to put in here is it's a green and a 1. It's from one of the newer sets. When it dies, you get an elemental. If they cast a spell on your turn, you get an elemental. Its power and toughness are equal to the number of creatures you control. That thing seems pretty good in here, especially with like Pod and Natural Order, and just given how good it is against control. But anyway, for now, I've got Nin in here, I've got Fire Ice in here, I've got Mana Leak, and I've got Merchant Scroll. Merchant Scroll is just too good not to be using, and having Fire Ice as an option to deal with like early, fast, priests and stuff seems pretty solid. The nice thing is, barring Nin, which again I'm on the fence about, I don't actually need a mountain to play much. I can always play Ice by using Fire Ice. It's not so much of a liability, so I don't know. Anyway, I'm still kind of playing around with those last few slots. I'm temporarily unable to collect more cards. I only had enough for the original Queen deck. I've kept all the cards for that, and a handful of cards here, so I can't actually test everything that I want to test, so maybe you can. You can tell me how it works. Thanks for watching. See you next time.